Hi everybody, it's time for Monday Musings again, and this is my new pattern packet that I'm releasing. I'm going to show you how I made that today, and I used the luminary die and a battery operated candle and a candlestick, and I'm releasing my pattern packet immediately, and it will be available immediately, and I'll leave some information on the blog about how to contact me to get that packet. And I'm going to show you today how we make it, and I'm going to pull the camera down in a few seconds here, and then we'll get started. Okay? Okay, got the camera down, and I want to show you that I'm using a battery operated light candle for my light, and I used a candlestick. I think it's a 6-inch candlestick. Let's find out. Whoops, got my ruler upside down. 7 inches. Okay. And it's just a wooden candlestick, and it can be obtained many places. I even think that your local Michaels and places like that may have it, but I will try to include a source, an online source, if you can't find it locally. So this is the first part. What I did, it just comes as bare wood, and on this I used the Americana multi-surface satin paints, and if you can't find those locally, I want you to contact me and I can obtain those for you. They are by Deco Art, and they will paint on plastic, metal, glass, anything, and they don't need a sealer. I didn't use any varnish on this, and it is a very nice finish. It's kind of a semi-gloss satin look, and it's very nice. So you could use this on stone, porcelain, anything. Okay, so I'm using Flamingo, Coastal Waters, Lavender Fields, and Chartreuse. And I painted the bottom 2 rings in Coastal Waters. I painted the next row in Flamingo, the next in Chartreuse, this long part in Lavender Fields, and we have Chartreuse again, Flamingo, and Coastal Waters, and then on the top I put the Lavender Fields. Okay, then I dotted them with these same colors. The Coastal Waters, I used the Flamingo to dot. The Flamingo, I used Chartreuse. The Chartreuse, I used Lavender Fields, and with the Lavender Fields, I used Coastal Waters. So I just used the end of my brush handle to make your brush very easily. You want to have a brush that has this kind of round end. You want to make, don't try to use it with a brush that has an angled end. And any size of brush that will fit whatever size dot you want. You can do this. And you want to dip, then dot, dip, then dot, dip, then dot. Don't dip, dot, 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 because your dots will decrease in size the more you dot from that one loading. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so that's how I prepared my candlestick. Okay, and then next, what I did with my for my luminary die for the lamp part of Springlights, I used the Tim Holtz Luminary 3D die set, and it's a big XL die. It's a long one. Oops, let me pull this out. And you'll cut 2 of these because you need 4 sides, 2 rooftops, but then you only need 1 of this base. But if it's easier to cut 2, just cut 2 and throw 1 away. So you'll need to cut this twice. Okay, so I have this, and first I wanted to prepare my paper. I started out using an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, but I didn't have enough, so I had to use 2 pieces. So if you start with a 12 by 12, then that should give you plenty of room to make all the cuts that you need to. And the first thing you want to do is color your paper, and I have these that are cut out, and I did color my paper. And the way I did that is I used Tim Holtz paints, I used Dusty Concord, Mowed Lawn, Picked Raspberry, and Broken China. And those match my colors of the satin paint very closely. I think that if I would have had the Shabby Shutters Distress Paint, that would have been a better match for the chartreuse, but the Mowed Lawn was the brightest color that I had in my paint, and it worked just fine. And, you know, these are really nice close matches. If you don't have the Tim Holtz paints, many of my artist friends don't have the Tim Holtz paints. You can... Oops, got a problem with my camera here. You can use the Americana multi-purpose satin paints in place of the Tim Holtz paints. What I did with the Tim Holtz paints is I took my nonstick craft sheet and I squeezed and dabbed out, you know, a puddle of paint for each color. I did not mix them up. I put them next to each other. My pink dabber has a few problems. I've got to fix it. I bought some replacement dabbers. Every once in a while one might get clogged, and that's what's happened to that one. So I just put them out there like that. And I spritzed water on them. And then, let me see if I don't think I have a piece of cardstock. I've got a little bit of the piece that's left from the one that I did. And so what I did was I just put it in the paint and picked it up or slide it through, turn it around, let it drip. You know, do this until you get something that you like, okay? So that's how I did it with the Tim Holtz paints. With the satin paints, they have different properties than the Tim Holtz paints do. So what I did for that one, for those, is I sprayed my cardstock, and then I took the paint. Whoops, need to shake that one. You do need to shake these. So I put my paints on the wet cardstock. Let's see, we need the paint, don't we? Okay, and sprayed a little more, get them kind of going, liquidy going, and then you can do the same. You can push them around, you can lift it up, just get your paints on there and get them to spread. So it can be done. It's a little bit different process, and you want to make sure you don't make mud. Follow your color theory, but both methods will work, as you can see. And then you want to dry your cardstock thoroughly. You can use your heat gun while you're drying to make your paint move. You can pick it up and manipulate it, tilt it, and dry it as it's running and dripping. Now it is important to be sure that your paper is fully dry before we do the next step, and I find that it's very helpful to turn the paper over and dry from the back side as well. Some places where if you're using the satin multi-purpose paint, that some of your paint will be thick in places because of where you squirted it on, and if it didn't get quite so wet and didn't all run. And you'll have some texture. You might have some cracks or some thickness or some places where, like, okay, I turned this over and it got on my craft sheet. It kind of blotted because it was still wet, and so now I have that texture on there too. But that's all well and good. That's all the better. So I'm pretty much dry here, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step. I'm going to give this just another minute to get dry down here on this end. But while I'm waiting for that, I want to show you that the inside of your luminary will show through. You can, like on this sheet of paper, you can do your marbling on you can do your marbling on both sides, so that when you look through the windows you see marbling on both sides, or you could just paint or spray your other side with just one color. That's up to you. I didn't do mine, but you can. And then I wanted to show you too, while I'm letting this dry a little bit, that you can make these Luminary Dyson just about any piece of paper. This is a sheet of paper that's kind of manly. It's got mustaches and things on it. And this, I used the front cover of the, oh gosh, it's an older Tim Holtz stash, and I know you remember it if you've been using Tim Holtz for a while. But you see there's lots of writing and stuff on here, and this is sort of a chipboard, and it's maybe it's a little bit thinner than that of a cereal box or cracker box. You don't want to use anything thicker than that because there's a lot of folding to do and cracking goes on if the chipboard you're using is too thick. Okay, so don't use anything thicker than cardstock or very, very thin like cereal box or the covers of your stashes, your Tim stashes. I used this one. I used this one as well. See, this has got a lot of writing on it. But see, I don't have to keep this color. I can gesso it, or I can use spray inks on it. That's what I used on this one. This was just straight manila cardstock. I think it was from a folder. And I sprayed the ink on here. I got it on my windows, so I should have thought of that idea before I put my windows on, and I didn't. So I got dirty windows on this one. But I just made a whole bunch of these this week, and I had a lot of fun putting them together. So that's a good way to use up your old stash covers and chipboard and things like that. So the next thing you want to do before you cut your die is you want to do your stenciling. So I used the Tim Holtz bubbles and the Tim Holtz dot fade. Find that one here as well. Okay, so those are the two that I used. Big dots, big circles, little circles. So then you're going to take your DecoArt texture stucco. But again, if you have a different texture paste, use that. Use what you have. You don't have to go out and buy something unless you want to, but because this stuff is really great stuff. I love it. I've used it for 1,000 different things. And you're just going to get a little bit on your metal palette knife. I don't like to use plastic palette knives because they're too flimsy. I like the strength of this one. And then you're just going to randomly stencil here and there. Okay? Don't use the whole stencil. Use it crooked. Have it real thick in one part and then thin in another. And then, let's see, come in here with your dot fade. And then you've got some smaller dots. So you've got a little bit different look. See how that is? And see, I'm still working on this same little palette knife, and So I mean, you know, I've only got a small piece of paper here, but you can see just how far this stuff will go. And just, you know, you just want to play with it. You don't want anything structured. Do not have any soldiers standing in line. That's Gabby Hunter, my mentor's favorite thing to tell me sometimes when I'm trying to design or do a piece where I have to worry about depth and perception and dimension, and she'll say, you've got little soldiers. And so I have to go back and change the values of the paint that I'm using. So you don't want to have little soldiers. You want random. And I'm scraping this off of here so I can get most of it off there before I wipe it off. You want to clean your stencils immediately. And I'm sitting here doing the video and I'm not going to be able to do that right away. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take some hand sanitizer and I'm going to spritz on both my stencils and rub it on there, and that keeps the stucco fluid and keeps it from sticking and drying on my stencils while I'm still doing the video. And I'm going to make sure that I get that on both sides. And then I'm going to take my towel and pat it dry. And basically I did just kind of clean my stencils, you know, right there. I will probably after the video go and rinse them off in running water, soap and water, but this does a really good job of getting most of it off if you can't go do that big cleanup right away. Okay, so then you're going to let this dry. You can help that along with your heat gun, and then you put it in your die cutting machine, your Big Shot, your Cuttlebug, your Vagabond, and run it straight through, and this texture won't matter at all. It won't make a difference to that machine. You know that it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so now let's go to our pieces, and I want to show you how to fold them. So I have one of them already folded, but we're going to go ahead and fold them. You can tell the top of the luminary from the bottom, because the bottom has these 2 tabs and the top has 1. Okay? The bottom, I have found that it's easiest to make these folds, and the folds are a little harder to do on the chipboard than on this plain cardstock. But the die creases these so you'll see your lines, and I want to do it with the short end, the full end I'm folding in front of me. And I'm going to start out my first fold with when you get to the right side, your fold is coming out, and then on the bottom of the luminary you're going to do an accordion fold. It's back and forth, and that's how you fold the bottom. And you pull it out, and you see that it becomes this stair step part. Okay, that's the bottom. To do the top, you are once again going to fold that first fold coming out, coming up, and then you're going to do 2 back folds. So after I do this first fold, which is close to the window, I come back here and I do this one, the one on the end, and then I turn it up and do it again. So you've got 1 forward fold and 2 back folds. That was, you know, I struggled and struggled and struggled, and maybe, you know, you get this easier and faster than I do, but I struggled with this until I finally figured out the bottom is an accordion fold, and the top is 1 forward and 2 back. Okay, and then you fold down your little tabs right there. Okay, now you've got 1 more fold to do. Right here on the side is another tab, and you want to fold that in. Okay, so we'll do these. We'll do the 2 more again really quickly. Once you've got that secret, it's really not hard to do it. After I did about 6 of these, I had it down. So we've got our bottom, which is an accordion fold. You can use, if you're using your chipboard, you do want to use your bone folder, but with cardstock it's usually not necessary. Okay, here we are on the top again. We're going to do the first one out. Then I'm going to come back here and do this edge back, and then do the last fold back. Now you can do this in you know, whichever way makes it comfortable for you, but this was the way that helped me to do it. Start with my bottom. So let me make sure I find the crease right. Okay. We do our accordion fold. I think I got this one a little bit crooked, just a little bit. I'll fix that before we do it. I like to come in here and do this one on the edge before I get both of them folded up, and you might want to do that one first even. So we'll come do our first one forward and then two back. Let me get that one. Okay, two back. Okay, so we're done with our folding for our sides, and I was using both wet glue, the Scotch Quick Dry, and the red line tape and score tape. I kind of liked using score tape better because it's a little easier to handle and manipulate. And it says you can also tear it, and you can. So you're going to put one on this side tab, and now when it and now when it gets down to these smaller tabs, I have better luck using my scissors and cut them. And you're going to put one on each tab. Okay. Now, something else we want to do before you start putting this together. If you want windows, you need to get some transparent acetate packaging. Okay. And I used, let me see if I can find it sitting here. I used for my templates the insides of the windows when you cut them out. And I have them sitting next to me. Okay. So here's one. Here's one. You can see, you know, where I colored it. Oh, also, I kind of forgot that I also used the picket fence distress paint to lighten it up a little bit, and I took some Delusions white linen ink spray, and instead of really spraying it, I actually took the cover off, and I just dripped it. Just dripped it on like that, because it gave me a little more random look, and that's what I wanted. So I almost forgot to tell you that part. Okay, so let me move this back out of the way. So okay, so this is my pattern, and I want to cut my acetate a little larger than this window because this is the size of the opening. Okay, so cut a little larger, and then I'll come back here and I'll put my score tape all around my openings. Alright, let's pull off the backing. And you take your clear acetate, hopefully yours is cleaner than mine is, and then just lay it right over top of those openings. Be sure that you don't cut it so big that it comes down into where your folds are. So I need to trim that one off just a little bit. And make sure that it doesn't interfere with turning your tab right there. And I've got just a little bit of a point that's kind of in the way, so I'm going to trim that too. Okay, so there you have your windows. Okay, so let's put this together. And for the moment, I'm only going to put one window in so that we can speed up the video, the time in the video, because I know you don't want to watch me do this 4 times. Okay, I have found that it's easiest for me. I start with the top, the tab at the top, and match that, adhere it. Next, I do the tab on the side, and you want to match your edges. Press that in. Then I come down to these 2 tabs on the bottom, take off the cover of both of them, and then I turn it upside down, well, you know, inside out, and match 1 tab at a time. Sometimes it's the bottom one, sometimes it's the one that's a little higher. And so, okay, you have your first corner. Okay, so you come take another one, and I'll try to do this quickly because I do want to show you how to put the roof together, because that was the part that really had me. I could not figure that out for the longest time, and maybe it was just me, and you know, I just couldn't do it. But you know, I'm a visual learner of sorts, but visual in the fact that I have to see it done before I can do it. That's why I do videos. Sometimes just reading the instructions just does not compute for me. Okay, so we've got our tabs, we've got our adhesive on. I'm going to start with that top tab again. I'm coming over here to the part that doesn't have a tab. I'm going to match up that top tab, press it down, take my cover off of, having trouble with it there, this, okay. Then I'm going to fold, you know, turn this corner, match my edges. It's very important for you to match your edges. Also, score tape is just a little bit forgiving. Until you really press it down, you can move it if you need to, if you don't quite have things lined up, which I don't. It's a little bit hard to do this while showing you. Okay, got it now. It shouldn't be that hard for you. And then we go with our two bottom tabs again. I kind of like to get this wide one at the very bottom stuck on, and then come inside and put the other one where it needs to be. I have better luck with that. Okay, we have one more side to do. Alright, so let's put our tape on here. And I'm sorry, should have put these tapes on before I turned the camera on. I didn't think of that. I wish I had, because I still could have showed you how to fold them with these adhesives on. Okay, here we go. But don't forget, you've got this one that you also have to connect. So come and put this on if you haven't already done it. It's probably easier, and when I was kind of mass assembling these last night, I put all of the tapes on all of my pieces for all 4 of them that I was making, and then I started putting them all together. Okay. Alright, so we got all of our adhesive on for our sides. Alright, so here we go with the tab on the top. Find our top. Want to match that up. Get it on there straight. Come to our side tab. Okay, get that on there straight. And then come to our 2 on the bottom. Then we come over here and we close it in. Now at this point you could probably still put your clear windows in if you hadn't done it yet. So I'm going to peel off my tabs again. This one is a little bit tougher to work with because you don't have an open side anymore, but you can do it because by now you know exactly what you're doing because you've already done the other 3 sides. And my last tab under here. Oh, covered, didn't want to come off of it. My backing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got that together. It's not hard. It doesn't take long at all. Once you've got the secret to the fold, once you figure out where your tabs go, and for me, it really just helps to just go with that top tab and straight on down. Okay, now what you will want to do here also is glue down your edges, these edges here. And I'm gonna do that real quick with some glossy accent. Just put a dab on all 4 corners for it to latch onto. And a good thing to use when you have something like this is to take your needle nose tweezers and just clamp that on, and all it takes is about 10-15 seconds with that clamped on and you'll get your bond. I'm just going to go around here real quick, get those clamped down. Okay, now we have these 2 pieces. The base piece is really easy to figure out. See if I can find one around here that I haven't. Basically, it's just folding in your sides. And then you've got tabs here. And then you glue your tabs and you get your base. Okay, very easy. So this is the one that really got me. I couldn't figure this out. There are creases and I just couldn't get it. So I'm going to show you. On the point of the arrow, you have a crease mark here. You want to fold that with your design side in. So I'm going to fold that. Okay, and you're going to do it with both pieces. Remember, you had to cut 2 pieces. Okay, so you're like this. Then you have a tab over here on this edge. You want to fold that tab in also, or fold it up. Okay, so you're like this now. Okay, you have another crease, and you are going to fold that the opposite way. Fold that one down. Alright, one more crease. This one also goes down. So here's what you have. Alright, is it easy to see? You're going to fold your big point inside, you're going to fold your flap inside, then you're going to fold your 2 points down. And that's what you have. Okay? Now, you're going to take the side with the flap up and the other point without a flap, and you're going to adhere those together. So let me put on. You can do this again with wet glue or with the score tape or the red line tape. For I like the hold and the instantness of this score tape, so that's what I'm using. So I apply it. Now I've got some hanging over, so I'm just going to kind of push that over onto itself. You apply it like this. Okay, now you turn this around and you've got the same thing over here. So you're going to put another piece of score tape on the top of this flap. Again, you can put these tapes on before you start assembling. You can put them all on before you start assembling. Okay, get off, fold the extra in on itself, take our point, and adhere them together. Now we have 4 points. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back to here. We're going to take good glue. You could use tiny bits of score tape. You can do that. But so far I've been using this Got Quick Dry and also Glossy Accents. And I've got Glossy Accents in front of me. So I'm going to put a nice puddle right there. I'm going to put it on all 4 corners. You're going to need to get enough so that you can stick that paper in it and it will hold. And then now I've found that it's easier for me if I take the little tip and just bend it up a little bit. Just at the tip. Okay, we're going to set this into our puddles. And I again have found that if I just hold 2 edges on there just for a few seconds, give it enough time to bond, then I can come over and nudge my other 2 corners in, hold it for a few minutes, for maybe 30-60 seconds. and then it will stand there and dry on its own. Of course, because I'm videotaping, it's not wanting to do it. It's giving me a few fits. But if you get one corner to stick, so I've got one corner here sticking, then you can go to the opposite corner. Don't go to the corner next to it, go to the opposite corner. Get that one to hold. Again, you can use your scissors, or I'm sorry, your tweezers. To hold it there. Then you come back to your other corners. Get that to hold. You can hold that one, and you can come over and work with this one. It's a little bit of a circus act to get those on, but they will do it. And you're done. Then all you do is take your candlestick, you take your base. Now if you would like to put this on with a glue dot or something, you can, or you could even glue this base on here. It's not necessary, but you can. I would rather do it with something semi-permanent like a glue dot. Set this on, set your candle in, and this fits right over top of it, and that base sits right there within those folds. And I know you can't really see this, but let me do it. Candlestick is too tall. Let me do it this way. Oh, I think, I just dropped it, and my candle's not lighting back up again. Maybe I knocked it loose. But you can sit that right there, and it won't topple. It fits very nicely, very snugly, right into this bottom. You don't want to glue this in because you want to be able to get your candle in and out. Or, if you don't put a candle in there, you might put a little Christmas tree or something in there, make a little vignette. So you don't want to attach these two together. So that's the die, that's the luminary die, that's my candlestick, and my packet is called Springlights, and I'll have some information for you here on the blog about getting the packet if you'd like it, with all of the instructions. So have a good week, have a happy Monday, and I'll see you again. Bye.